Ever find yourself wondering, why do I keep falling for people who don't feel the same way? It's frustrating, right? You give everything: time, energy, emotions, only to end up hurt or feeling not good enough. Here's the kicker. It's not just bad luck or timing. There's a deeper reason behind why you're drawn to the unavailable, the distant, or the almost perfect ones. And no, it's not because you're doomed to fail at love. The truth is, most of us are carrying emotional baggage we don't even know exists. Patterns and beliefs about love that were formed long before we even started dating. But what if I told you that understanding these patterns could completely change your love life? That you could finally stop chasing the wrong people and start attracting the right ones? Stick around, because what we're about to uncover might just rewrite everything you thought you knew about relationships.
Let's go.
Chasing unavailable people. You know what's funny? The harder someone is to get, the more we seem to want them. It's like that one vending machine snack stuck in the coil.
Wow.
Suddenly, it feels like the only thing worth having. This happens more than you'd think, especially with relationships. People chase those who don't text back, ghost, or keep things casual.
True.
Thinking, if I win them over, that'll mean I'm worth it. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It's not about them. It's about what's going on inside you. Think about it. Ever been into someone who's hot and cold? One minute they're all sweet, the next, they're a disappearing act. Let's say Sam has been into Taylor, who only answers texts every few days, but somehow keeps stringing him along. Sam feels like if Taylor finally gives in, it'll mean he's won the game.
Nice.
But chasing someone like that is exhausting and honestly, just a fast pass to doubting yourself even more. If they're not meeting you halfway, why are you running the full mile? Here's a wild idea. Stop and ask yourself, why am I so into someone who's not into me? It's a scary question, but it opens doors. Grab a notebook or vent to your best friend over coffee. It's time to figure out why you're investing in someone who's not investing back. The kicker? This pattern didn't just appear out of nowhere. Most of us learned it somewhere along the way, and understanding where it started might just explain why it's so hard to break free. Validation and confidence. Here's the thing, chasing validation from someone else is like trying to drink salt water. It'll never really quench your thirst. So many people believe, if I can make them love me, I'll finally feel good about myself. But the reality, that kind of validation is like a sugar rush, quick, fleeting, and leaves you crashing hard. Confidence doesn't come from someone's attention. It comes from knowing your worth, even if no one's clapping. Take Alex, for example. He spent months trying to impress someone who only gave him mixed signals. Every tiny compliment felt like a win, but the silence in between made him overthink everything. He thought winning this person over would fix their insecurities. Instead, it just made him more anxious, checking his phone constantly and second-guessing every move. Sound familiar? That's because relying on someone else for confidence is a trap. It'll always leave you chasing instead of growing. Here's a better approach: build your confidence from the inside out.
Got it.
Start small, pick one thing you're proud of, like crushing a work project or sticking to a gym routine. Celebrate it. Confidence grows when you prove to yourself that you've got this. And once you start owning your worth, it's easier to stop seeking validation from people who can't give it. But why do we even fall into this mindset in the first place? A lot of it ties back to lessons we didn't even realize we were learning as kids. Childhood influences. It's wild how much of our present is shaped by our past. Isn't it?
True.
A lot of the habits we have today, especially in relationships, trace back to things we picked up as kids. If you grew up constantly trying to win someone's attention, like a distant parent or a tough-to-please teacher, chances are you've carried that same energy into adulthood. It's not your fault, but it's definitely worth unpacking. Imagine someone like Jamie. Growing up, Jamie's parents were emotionally unavailable, busy with work, stressed, or just not great at expressing love. Now, as an adult, Jamie gravitates toward people who are just as distant, unconsciously trying to rewrite that old story. They think, if I can make them love me, it'll prove I'm lovable after all. But the truth is, no relationship can heal wounds that need internal work. So what do? Start by spotting the patterns. Journaling can help. Write down what you felt as a kid when it came to love and attention, and see how it lines up with your current relationships. Therapy is also a game changer. Talking to a professional can help you break cycles you didn't even know existed. Recognizing the past is step one, but the real magic happens when you stop repeating it. And yet, it's so easy to slip into the same old habits over and over again. Breaking cycles and embracing real love. Ever feel like you're stuck in a dating déjà vu? You meet someone, think they're different, and before you know it, you're back in the same emotional rut. This isn't bad luck. It's a pattern. People tend to gravitate toward what feels familiar, even if it's not healthy. It's like your brain's on autopilot, picking partners who mirror old wounds. Breaking that cycle? It starts with realizing you're caught in it. Take Mia, for example. She kept falling for people who needed saving, partners who were emotionally unavailable or stuck in toxic habits. In her mind, fixing them felt like a way to prove her value. But all it did was leave her drained and frustrated. If you've ever been the one trying to heal someone else, here's the hard truth. It's not your job to fix anyone. Real love doesn't feel like a project. It feels like a partnership. So how do you start choosing better? First, look for people who show they're ready for love. Not just with their words, but with their actions. Does this person communicate openly? Do they respect your boundaries? And most importantly, do they bring out the best in you? It takes courage to stop chasing the thrill of unavailable people and start embracing those who are genuinely ready to invest in you. The good news? Once you spot these patterns, you can rewrite the story. Now that you've seen the patterns, the baggage, and the cycles, here's the big question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you keep chasing unavailable people, hoping they'll magically change? Or will you start choosing differently? It might feel overwhelming at first, but here's the truth. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Even small steps, like journaling about your past relationships or identifying those repeating patterns, can spark incredible change. The important thing is to start. And remember, real growth isn't about finding the perfect partner. It's about becoming the version of yourself that no longer settles for less. Take a moment to reflect. What's one thing you can do today to break free from old habits? If this spoke to you, don't let it end here. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stick around. There's so much more to uncover about love, self-worth, and stepping into the relationships you truly deserve. Let's walk this journey together.